All right, welcome back everybody. Today we're going to be looking at a couple new balls in the Storm family. Took us a little while to get them, but it's going to be the Infinite Physix. Make sure I got that right. And the Idle Cosmos. So let's take a look at them and chat a little bit before we get into drilling. Let's start. So let's start with the Infinite Physix. All right. Here's what it looks like. It's got this blue, purple, black. It's a decent looking ball. Now, this ball is a Pearl. It's the Rex Pearl. I always want to say R2X for some reason when I see that logo, but it is Rex. So this is sort of like a little bit, it's more traction than the R2S. So if you remember the Physix, right, that came in an R2S cover. So you had this big atomic core inside an R2S cover. And for me, I said right away, it's a mid-late ball. So, you know, I usually like Pearl ASIMs or shiny ASIMs, I should say, especially when they have a big core. I like to kind of take advantage of that forward tumble in the mid-defined category. And for me, the R2S cover is way too clean, late and responsive to fit in a mid-defined category. So it kind of pushed down. And we just talked about actually my favorite balls, and the mid-late was the Dark Code, and that has the Rex cover, same cover as this Infinite Physix. And so, does that mean it's going to put it in the mid-late also? Well, out of box, I don't think so, but I'm not 100% sure what to think yet. Why? Because this one's actually coming out of box with 4,000 grit Abralon finish. So I think it's definitely going to have more traction. It's probably going to show off a little bit more of that forward tumble, just because of the way, you know, the factory finish. Whereas the Dark Code came with that very shiny 1500 grit, that traditional 1500 grit polish that has come from Storm, that is now coming as the, what is it, 4,000 Fast, I think it's called. I haven't, you know, I did get another Zen which has the 4,000 Fast. Pleased to say the ball rolls great. It rolls just like the one we had originally with that factory polish, except seemed to be actually a little bit less sensitive to the mid-lane oil volume, so it didn't quite go as, it didn't look as skittish in the oil. But anyway, that's topic for another video. So this ball here, I am using 14-pound ball, as you guys know, for the most part these days, and this is 253 052 differential and a 015 mass bias. You know, that's, you know, Physix core, this atomic core, it's known now, right? It's been several balls. I know that in R2S it did not look forward and tumbly, and in the Proton Physix it's definitely forward and tumbly. And I think if you go back to the original Physix, it was kind of somewhere in between. And so I'm thinking that this is gonna kind of basically slot a little bit below the original Physix. Not quite, essentially between the Astro and the original Physix. That's kind of what I'm guessing. So, you know, take the wings and see. And we'll talk a little bit about the layouts shortly. Let's talk about the Idle Cosmos. So this ball, at this point, I mean, some nice like green, teal, I don't know, whatever you want to call this. It's Extreme Tracks Pearl We've seen this icon core now several times. I have to admit, my first thought, because out of all of the idols, the Idol Pearl is by far my favorite. I think it's not even close. I don't think there even is a close second. So my hope was that the Idol Cosmos would be like another Idol Pearl. Seeing it out of box with the 4000 grit Avalon doesn't tell me they intend this ball to replace the Idol Pearl. And, with it being this extreme tracks, my guess is this is going to be a ball with way more traction and therefore, a little bit smoother. I hate to use the term forward rolling, but I mean, this is a big core. And if you remember from our video with the Idol Helios, and I talked about this actually in my favorites video as well, Idol Helios almost rolls like a urethane ball for someone of my reverie. It doesn't mean I'm not trying to badmouth it by saying that. It's just such a control ball. It controls so much in the mid lane, and then has a very clear, smooth motion. The back end is very smooth and controllable. And sometimes I found that because of how much it controls the mid lane, you open up a little bit, and then it gets a little lazy on the back end. And so and that was in relation to the original Idol. I think the Idol's not that different in that regard. And if I had to think back, Pepto-Bismol is probably a little bit more pocket magnet for me, the original Idol. But single pins, don't be surprised to leave single pins. The Idol Helios has felt so far a little bit more condition specific, but when it's on that condition, actually worked a little better for me than the original Idol. So now you have this ball, and I have to say, the Idol Pearl worked great for me. Whenever I had to pull it out, I think as a mid-late ball, got that nice late, boomy character because of the big shape of the core, so you got it to store a little bit more energy. And this is a 254049 diff, so big diff, can flare a ton if you want it to. And I probably will use somewhere around 4 1/4 inch pin on this one, probably 45 degree val angle. I just see this ball is going to be, logically, out of the box, it's going to be somewhere between the Idol Pearl and the Idol Helios. And so I'm not sure if that's where I want it to be. I'm almost thinking this is going to wind up like a mid-control ball, because the Idol Helios is a strong control with 4000 Avalon. Typically if I'm seeing a 3000, 4000, like something with some surface and the kind of shape that I've seen from the Idol Helios with the kind of traction that exists in this cover, I actually see is going into like mid-control as opposed to like the Idol Pro, which was clearly mid-late. A lot of boom. I maybe we get down to it, we'll polish this cover after we do our initial test, and then we'll see if by polishing it, did I just make it a little longer and smooth, or was I able to get it to kind of shape a little bit like the Idol Pearl down lane. So we'll see. That's kind of what I'm getting vibes of, from this ball. So I know we're a little late to the game. A lot of people have had these balls. Unfortunately, we got them a little later. But for our fans, we will be testing them. We should be able to get a view on this from multiple testers, and we'll see what they look like. So that's it for now. We'll just do a little bit of the drilling, and I'll dry it up and show you what that looks like. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. Infinite Physix, not 100% sure where this one's going to fit. I don't even want to speculate because I think I'll have to see how I feel about how it rolls in May because of the surface truly fit in a mid-defined as compared to, say, the Astro Physix. But that if I had to guess, that's where I'm gonna put it before we start. And like I said, I actually think the Idol Cosmos is gonna wind up being a mid-control ball, almost like a benchmark type of shape. But we'll see. We'll take the lanes and find out. All right, so we've drilled the Storm Infinite Physix. So we've done 45 by 4 1/4 by 45 on the Infinite. And the Roto Grip Idol Cosmos, we have done a 4 1/4 by 45. So we'll take them out onto the lanes, see how they roll, and get back to you in the full review video. All right, catch you soon.